Okay, now you should be able to hear me as well. Um, so I'll start again. It's the 8th of May. The time is 10:15 a.m. Central European Summertime. I'm Ben Newman. I'll be your host for today's webinar. Now, yesterday was uncertain to say the least. It was very difficult to trade yesterday. The general election in the UK was bringing trends all over the place. Very difficult to read. So today I'm just going to really prepare us for this afternoon, where there's a big event. The non-farm payroll data is being released, and that is where our focus needs to be today. However, looking at these trends so far, it does look like the outlook's quite positive. Now, I'm just having a look at what we've got here. We had an Australian, the Royal Bank of Australia's monetary policy statement earlier on. I just want to have a look how that affects. So there we go. This is what happened when that was released. Let's just have a look here. In fact, it started going down, but then we saw a good gain in the Aussie dollar, which was more based on, looks like it was more based on the China trade balance statement. So yeah, so not directly linked to the Aussie dollar, that movement, but certainly this is the sort of movement we see whenever there's some kind of news in Australia. So these are good trends to follow. Now, as always, I've got my brokers written down on a piece of paper here. Hopefully you've got the same, and then we can write down our trades as we make them. Yeah, well, it will be Euro GBP. Let's just have a look at that. Well, at the moment, Fuad, I don't see that. I don't see that myself, but I don't know what you're looking at. But yeah, it has been for some time now, absolutely. But it will level out because the London market's about to open. So there's not one we can trade on at the moment, Fuad. Okay. Now, so going back to these trends, I'm just going to methodically work through these. We can see that because of the pound gaining against the euro yesterday, that's why we're seeing it rise today. That may well continue, but we'll keep an eye on it. So what we need to do is start going through it. As always, I've got my brokers written down at the top of a piece of paper, as should you have, and we're going to write down the details of our trades as they come. Now, can anyone tell me if it's their first time, if they haven't had any kind of training session with me, then let me know, all right, and I can go through the different parameters of the software as we go through. Now, you might notice that I've got all of my currency pairs turned off. None of them are turned on, and that's because we use a market trend analysis and then signal strategy. Okay, it has to be in that order. Then we know we're making calculated decisions on exactly when to place trades, or if to place trades, in fact. The problem that I find a lot of people have, or the reason why they lose money with this, is trading at the wrong time. They simply think that they can sit down and sit down at any time of day and place successful trades. The market does not work like that. Okay, we have to work around the market, and if that means getting up at 2 in the morning to take advantage of an Australian dollar monetary statement, or you know, whatever time zone you're in, getting up to accommodate unemployment data in the UK, or whatever it might be, that's what we have to do. So my expertise lies in identifying opportunities that we're going to have to trade, and that is all centered around financial events. So that's what we do in this. So the fact that I host these webinars at the same time every day should give you some indication that it really isn't possible to trade every day at the same time. So we have to adapt to the markets. They certainly are not going to adapt to us. Now, no one's responded there, so I'm assuming everyone has been on a webinar before, and either been on a webinar or they have had some kind of talk through of the software and the parameters there. So I don't need to do that. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is get straight on with the trend analysis. And what I know today is the main event, which is the NFP, which is occurring at, and of course you've got the Canadian employment change and unemployment rates all at the same time there. So that means that there's going to be a huge opportunity around this afternoon's webinar, which is where I'm going to focus that's 12:30 GMT, 14:30 my time. so we're going to be running a webinar to coincide with that, and that should give us a good idea what's happening. It's likely to be positive for the US dollar. As far as the Canadian is concerned, not too sure. So I'm using this morning's webinar really as a preparation, as a forecast for that. Based on yesterday's results, I'm just taking a step back, making sure we are focusing on the right events to trade. If I see opportunity at the moment, I will place trades, but I'm not going to rush into it. I'm certainly not going to risk my own money. It just doesn't make sense to trade for the sake of trading. I'm sure you all agree on that. So what we're going to do is continue to go through these trends. So I'm going to start with the Australian US dollar and just methodically work through these. So Aussie US dollar, there we go. So we can see that the Aussie dollar's been rising. That's fairly normal. And then as Europe opens, things start to turn down. Obviously, the US dollar will start to take control. Okay, Howard, can anyone else confirm whether they're having audio issues? If you can just confirm whether you can hear me okay. Yeah, so Howard, unfortunately, that's at your end, not mine. There's not a lot I can do about that. Sorry, but yeah, it's definitely your end. If everyone else can hear me okay, I'll just wait for anyone else to confirm. Yeah, so yeah, apologise for that, Howard. There's not a lot I can do from here if it's at your end. So that's not one that's given us opportunity at the moment, but I think it will later on. So we're just going to carry on going through this Euro GBP. Let's have a look. Now, as Fuad mentioned earlier, the euro has started rising against the pound, and that's fairly typical considering we're coming up to the London market opening. That suggests to me as well that the pound will strengthen when the London market opens. So that's usually how it works. All right, so we've seen this little rise here, and it is at a very low point, the euro against the pound. So we'll see what happens. It could be that it goes the other way. Let's see if we've got anything going on when London opens. Yeah, the GBP trade balance is happening at 10:30. It was negative, but I expect it will be more positive because of the election yesterday. We certainly hope so. So I think the Euro GBP is going to be one to trade on. So I'm going to get a few brokers. I'm going to make those my secondary trades here, and I'm going to tee those up just in case we want to place some trades on it. The Euro GBP. There we go. So we're still seeing this rising. And look at that. It's not giving me any expiry times whatsoever. One, which is not ideal for me. I'll take a look at it, but that suggests to me that the brokers kind of know that something's going to happen there. So we'll see. Let's see if another broker is giving us any options there. The Euro GBP. There it is. Let's just have a look whether we've got some better flexibility of expiry time. Not really. 9 as well. So I think the GBP will strengthen when the London market opens. But as I say, I'm really not going to rush into trades this morning unless I'm absolutely certain of them. So I hope you understand it's better just not to trade at all than to trade at risk. You know, you were better off waiting for a much more certain time. Now look at the euro against the JPY here. Now this is one that certainly we can take advantage of, I think. Euro JPY. Let's have a look. This has been rising. Let's have a look on it. Yeah, so it's been rising fairly consistently this morning. This is giving us, but I want to place this on longer expiries again. I think this will continue to go up. I'm going to have a look at a longer time frame on this just to see where it's been over the last few days. And okay, Dan, what are you talking about? The audio? Hopefully everyone can still hear me. I'm not getting any response. Right, can everyone still hear me? Okay. All right, good. Okay, back to the Euro JPY. Now we can see here that it's come from quite a low point, so the Euro's probably got some gain to go here. So this is one that maybe we can capitalise on. We're just going to keep an eye on what happens for the London market opening, but at the moment the Euro JPY looks like a good option for us in terms of very steady growth. So we'll see what happens there. But nothing really certain here. I'm going to put the signals on for this one. We'll just continue to work through these. Euro USD could well be offering opportunity as well. We can see the euro started to rise. Let's have a look at an H1 chart and see if we can establish what's happening there. Right, again from a very low point. So this is where really we want to be focusing our trades, okay, because these are that's odd, that's offering two 9 o'clock positions, but what I'm basing this on is the euro to continue to gain, okay, and I think it will do against the pound as well. All right, it's at quite a low point against a number of different counterparts. So so that should be provide an opportunity probably once London opens, and we're just going to see what happens there. So let's have a look at an M1 chart. Yeah, so this really been rising here, but it's started to drop now. So we'll keep an eye on that, put it on M5, turn the signals on, and we'll see what comes. You can see that the dollar's just turned this around a bit, but I don't think that will last. GBP CHF, often very volatile. You can see that the pound gained massively against the Swiss franc yesterday. Very predictable because of what happened, but then CHF has been driving back against the pound, which means when it opens, there's a high possibility it will start to gain. Look, it already has started doing that, but look at how this has been moving, my God. So, very unpredictable. I mean, this is a huge movement here in favour of the pound this morning. It's come back down, so probably the pound going to rise, but this is very erratic indeed. So again, we'll just keep an eye on that. I'm not going to turn signals on from it for my liking. So I'm just having a few issues with audio and video, so just tell me if, obviously, if I'm dropping out, you can't hear me anymore. Now look at this, the pound against the yen. Now this is a really interesting movement. This is because of the election yesterday. Let's have a look. Look how high this has got. So this is really interesting. It's been flat for quite a while, and then just the pound just dominated it throughout yesterday. So let's have a look where we're at on an M5 chart. This may be one that we can start to take advantage of. The pound still rising against it. Let's just see if we can capitalise on that movement. That's certainly the best trend I've seen this morning, and we can see that this is continuing to rise. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at London market opening, whether this comes back again. But I think we'll be in a position where we can start trading this. Let's just have a look. Yeah, so it is continuing to rise, and the pound's still strengthening there. So an interesting movement. It is at a very high point, so could the yen turn? It's not open anymore, so it's probably unlikely to. So I think the pound will probably continue to gain against that for the foreseeable future. So that's a fairly good trend to be watching. And then I'm just going to continue through and see if we can drag out another opportunity here. GBP USD. Again, very similar to the pattern with the yen. So this is another one that possibly we're going to see continue to rise once London opens, and certainly it's doing that. That's where I'm going to tee these trades up. This is the GBP USD. So we've got a number of different trades there. Now, hopefully people have been keeping track of my analysis here. I've got a GBP USD teed up. I've got a GBP JPY teed up. And I'm just going to have a look what happens when London opens. I've also got a Euro JPY teed up here. Notice I've got quite long expiry times on them, 30 minutes or 45 minutes in a lot of cases if they're available. Euro USD teed up, and another Euro JPY or Euro JPY teed up here for 9 o'clock. It's not giving me great expiry times there, but we'll see how those act. And I've also got a Euro GBP, which we'll see what happens with that, because here we go. So market's just about to open. I'm on GBP USD, but I'm going to put it on the Euro GBP to watch this movement when London opens. Let's just see how these trends move. So this one here, I'm not too fussed about. This is the one that I want to keep an eye on. GBP pairings on London opening. The GBP USD, this has dropped down a bit. Let's just have a look on a 30-minute chart. Yeah, so the US dollar started to dominate this, and let's just see. I think the pound will come back. So I'm just going to have a look here to see whether we can get an updated view of this. So, as I said, because we saw, right, so we can see now that the euro is continuing to gain against the pound. It's too early to tell, really. Right, so we can see that the USD really dominating the pound now. So what I'm going to do is hold on, because I think there'll be a switch here and the pound will start to come back. So what I'm going to base this trade on is a recovery by the pound, but I want to wait for it to get to a fairly low point. Let's just see if we can establish that. It's still dropping, still dropping. I just want to hold on until it gets to that, and when it turns, I'm going to place this trade. There we go. So it's now turned. Let's get that placed, and then we'll go to our other brokers, GBP, JPY. What's happening here? It started to drop as well, so this will turn, I think. Let's just wait for it to turn. We're only a minute in, remember, so I'm just trading with caution here, because this should continue to gain with the pound. I'm just uncertain whether to place this just yet. I think it will turn around. Let's just have a look at different trends. Euro JPY we've got here. So now we're seeing the euro start to gain against the yen, and I think this will continue now. So I'm just going to get that trade placed, because I think the euro is strong today. It was very weak yesterday, probably because of the focus on the pound. And then we can see the euro against the dollar and euro against the GBP starting to rise now as well. So I think the pound may well come back though, so we just want to see whether the euro continues to gain. Certainly looks like it's going to at the moment. I think it will. I mean, it was really low yesterday, so I think this is a sign this is going to continue. So I'm going to get this trade placed as well. I'll give a summary of these trades if everyone's following me, and there we go. We can see it starting to gain against the US dollar as well. So I'm going to follow this euro, because I think there's some real potential in this. Euro JPY, there we go, that's rising as well. So let's get trade placed on that. In fact, I already had a trade placed on that, so not to worry. They'll be in a good position for us in a minute, so I'm not too fussed about that. And then the banker binary, I think, was the one that I was watching here, where the yen has started to now dominate the pound, and it really is starting to drive against the pound. So I'm going to get this trade placed in favour of the yen. Okay, so we're seeing that the pound is weak on opening, and we're going to try and capitalise on that movement while we can. All right, and on this position here, we've got a trade placed with the pound, which doesn't look like it's going to go our way. So the GBP USD, we can see, has continued to drop, but it may well come back, so we'll just keep an eye on that. So to summarise, was everyone managing to follow what I was doing there? Because I'm going to go through another summary. Hopefully I'm using a variation of different pairs, and the reason I'm doing that is because, in fact, we haven't got one placed here. The reason I'm doing that is because I think there's strength in the euro, but it has just turned back. But I've got plenty of time on these trades, don't worry. But I've gone with a strong euro today. We'll see them bouncing around all over the place for now. You see I've got fairly long expiry times, at least 30 minutes, in some cases more than that. So we'll just see how these act over the next 10 minutes or so. Okay, certainly placing the trades early means we get them into a good position. All right, so we take advantage of full movement. and we'll start to see the euro pick up again, I think, in a minute once the London market gets established. Now we're seeing the pound starting to strengthen. So here we should have. It's just coming back now, but we'll just see how it should sit around this position. So this one will probably come in for us. We'll just see how the pound starts to strengthen. It is certainly coming in. It's certainly coming back against the US dollar now. So it's just a waiting game. This is the earliest one I placed, remember, and I was looking for a pound comeback, so something that was going to go away from us and then start coming back. As you can see here, the pound is continuing to weaken, so that's good for this trade. There we go. So it does look like the euro is going to be strong and the pound's going to be weak. That's certainly how it's looking at the moment. We've got 2 euro trades placed here, and I think the euro will start to strengthen, as we can see here. Certainly is against the US dollar. I think it will do against the pound as well. So we're just waiting for that to rise. That should come into the green as well. There we go. So we can see that the euro is very strong today. So I'm probably going to continue and get another trade placed against the GBP, which it looks strong against here. There we can see that we're getting signals now to confirm these movements. So I think the euro is going to continue to gain here. So there we go. Yes, Howard. So I have Euro GBP and Euro JPY. Okay, basically I've gone in favour of the euro. The euro looks very strong today, so that's what I've backed. Okay, so I've got a Euro JPY and a Euro GBP, both with a 9 GMT expiry time. Okay, these trades are, I would say, medium to high risk in that we're placing them around market opening. That's often the case here. So we can see that the euro is very strong. So then we've got a Euro USD and a Euro GBP, 9 and 9.15 expiry time. So all, so they're calls. Anything that's euro first is going to be a call trade. Then we've got Euro JPY placed twice, mistakenly actually. Again, they're call trades, so Euro JPY there. And then we've got a GBP JPY put trade, so we back the yen to get stronger against the pound there. So the picture is that the pound's weak on London opening. That is the basis of these trades. And then we've got a GBP USD here, which I think I'm probably going to sell this position because the pound is so weak on opening. So in fact, what I'm going to do is take advantage of the fact that the US dollar now is getting much stronger against the yen. So I'm going to place a trade there and replace it with this one here. So so there's the positions. I've now got a USD. I don't think it's going to let me cancel this trade. No, it won't. The pound may come back, but at the moment it's looking like that one won't come in. So I've just placed a trade to take advantage of this movement by the US dollar, which is now rocketing against the yen. All right, so we've got the pound now strengthening against the yen. And let's just have a look at our other trades. The euro still strong. So the backing of the euro, the euro is strong against everything against the pound now. So we'll just see how things pan out there. The euro is still strong against the yen, as you can see, and I think it will come back against the pound. The pound really starting to gain again against the euro, but not with any conviction. I mean, it's not sustaining that movement. So we have got another 20 minutes left on these trades, so we can see how strong the euro is against the yen. So the majority of our trades here, we can see, are in good shape. So yeah, everything's a call apart from the GBP JPY, which at the moment, obviously I back the yen, but at the moment, let's just have a look what's happening with that. The GBP is rising against it, so the pound is starting to see some strength now against the US dollar and the yen. So we can see here that I can't sell that position, but certainly the pound is weak against the US dollar. So the US dollar very strong and the euro very strong. That's the consensus here. We're starting to see this dip back down now. There's always a lot of movement just after London market opening before things settle. So I do think that basically if we're following the euro here, you can see against the yen, they're the most reliable trades. I have placed some other trades obviously, but the euro JPY certainly looks at the moment like the most reliable trades. Okay, this one just creeping in with the euro GBP strong as well. So there we've got, to summarise, euro JPY call trades with ideally 9:15 expiry times if you can get them. Euro GBP again 9:15 expiry time if you can get it. We've got a euro USD with a 9:15 expiry time, although the US dollar is strengthening now. Then a euro GBP 9:15 expiry time, you can get it very strong with the euro. So the only thing the euro isn't strong against at the moment is the dollar, but it is extremely strong against the pound and the yen. So that's where we're at. Obviously we've got our euro JPY trades placed there, 9:15 expiry times, and the yen now strengthening against the pound. All right, so there's nothing definite there in terms of patterns of movement, but certainly the euro looks strong. The one thing that is for sure is that the pound is weak against the US dollar, the yen, the US dollar strong against the yen. So there we go. So we've got one, just having a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trades placed. One of them not in the money, or two of them just bouncing out in them, but one of them looks certain not to be in the money. The rest of them look pretty good. USD against the euro. Euro USD. Let's have a look. Yeah, it is a bit unstable right now, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, that's because the euro and the US dollar are the strong pairings here. They're the two strongest currencies at the moment, and that's why they're more unstable than the other ones. The ones we've got placed against it's always good to have a trade like that placed as well. I mean, that may or may not come in, but the point is we can see, we can establish quite clearly which are the stronger pairs now. So we can see that the euro is strong and the US dollar is strong, quite evidently. So there we've got euro JPY, euro strong against the yen, and then GBP JPY, the JPY now strong against the pound, suggesting that's a very weak currency. And then we've got US dollar JPY just creeping into the money with the US dollar there. And then this one is GBP USD, which again is not looking good because the US dollar has dominated the pound there. But so out of our 9 trades, it looks like 1 or 2 may not come in, but if we get 7 out of 9, we're still in the position where we're seeing somewhere in the region. Just hold on for me. So if we get 7 of 9, yeah, we're still looking at over $200 profit for this trading session, which I'd be quite happy with. We can see the US dollar really powering off against the. Let's see if I can sell this position. I don't think it's going to let me. Oh, it is allowing me to. So I'm going to sell that position. Not much money back on it, but it does give me an opportunity to place a different trade. Now we've got a more established idea of what's happening with this market. So the pound now starting to gain a bit against the yen. And let's just see whether these are. Remember, we've got plenty of time. So the consensus is that the euro is very strong here. There's absolutely no doubt. Euro the strongest currency this morning, and that's not surprising to me considering the movement we had against it yesterday. And I'll just show you what I mean by that. If we look on an H1 chart, so euro GBP. Now look at that, how the pound has been strengthened against the the euro all yesterday, obviously because of the elections, and now the euro is starting to come back, to dip down a bit, but overall I think the euro is going to continue to rise against the pound here. We've got another 15 minutes on these trades, so not overly concerned about them. So the only other one that looks uncertain is the euro USD. Whether that's going to strengthen enough against the US dollar is unlikely. So it may be that it is a strong trend. So it is a strong currency today. So we'll just have a look how those pan out. So yes, the things again a bit uncertain, but really the focus is on this afternoon's movement. That's really where the opportunities are going to lie today, the main opportunities, and I'm going to be looking to make slightly higher profit around the NFP this afternoon. So has anyone got any questions today? The past couple of days, certainly the morning session's been quite frantic, but that's the way trading goes sometimes. When there's a lot of financial events going on, there are opportunities, but we've just got to make sure we assess them correctly. But certainly at the moment, most of these trades looking like they're going to be a good result for us. So let's just have a look at my trades here. So this one here, GBP, JPY, looking good as well. So all of them, or the vast majority of them, looking like they're going to be in the money now. So has anyone got any questions for me while we sort of get towards wrapping this webinar up? No questions at all. Please do ask them. Take advantage of the fact that you got me here, and I can answer any questions you've got. It would amaze me if really no one's got any questions at all, especially if it's a one-off webinar you're on. Then really, you should be asking as many questions as you can to make sure that you're getting as much information as you can. Obviously, that's the whole purpose of these webinars, is that everyone's benefiting from them. We're all getting the benefit. USD against the euro is a bit unstable. I think you've already said that, Fuad. So anyone else got any comments or questions, feedback for me? I'd be very grateful for. And certainly, well, the euro looking like it's weakening now as well. So we'll just see how things pan out. We've got another 10 minutes to go on these. The only one really that looks definitely uncertain is against the USD now, and the US dollar starting to strengthen against that. So just have a look on M5 and see how things are looking. As always, we get to this stage where we've got a lot of trades placed and things start going very slowly on the chart. Here we go. So this is the Euro GBP. You can see the Euro is still creeping up, but at a slower pace than before. Where do I go to get updated on news events? Well, my sources of information are exclusive to the clients that are taking our training programs, Fuad. So, Fuad, are you on a subscription to the webinars, or do you have training as well? I know we haven't spoken. If you have, yeah, subscription to the webinar. So yeah, the information, my sources of market information, obviously we've got to keep exclusively for our training clients. It's part of the training program, those sources of information. Okay, so yeah, we do keep them for our training programs. Internet was down for apparently routine maintenance at 2 to 3 local time. Any trades you feel I can still get into to be safe? Well, at the moment, Dan, keep an eye on the euro. The euro is predominantly strong. You can see we just got another signal. Well, it's the last signal we got from the euro JPY, and it looks like that's in fact, the pound starting to gain against the US dollar here, and the JPY. So we're in a good position now. Sorry, the US dollar still gaining against the JPY there, and the GBP starting to gain some ground against the JPY as well. But I think that will come back, which it is doing now. I can't see it staying in that position. We've got a bit longer on that trade there, but the euro is still looking good for us against the JPY. So the consensus is to really keep an eye on that euro, which is powering on. that's staying strong. So Fabio, do I get updates from investing.com? I have used investing.com. Yeah, it's a useful source of information. So, but it's up to you where you get your sources from. Obviously, Fabio, you're on a webinar subscription as well, which we I think today's your first webinar. So yeah, again, you know, we have to keep some of the our information sources to exclusively for our training programs. Okay, otherwise, you know, very quickly the value in those dwindles away. But what the main thing is that you're focusing on key financial events. All right, they're really the main thing there. We've got a couple of trades here. The euro just weakened against the JPY, but I think that will come back, and against the GBP. But again, I think that will come back in the next 10 minutes. So not overly concerned about those. And then we've got as I said, our Euro USD here, which I think will probably start to strengthen again. So we'll just see how that acts. It is starting to creep up. It hasn't got a long way to go to get to where it needs to. So we'll just see. Be interested to see how that whether that does get back. We've got till 9:15 on that trade, so that's not too bad at all. So so I'm going to start to wrap this up now. We can see the euro still powering on. If it just starts gaining against the USD, we'll be in a situation where I'm just having a look. All of our trades will come in. Just having a look here. Yeah, so it looks like all of them are going to come in now. The yen strengthened against the pound, so the only one really that euro needs to gain against is the US dollar, which is this one here. And if we did that, we'd be in a position where we're getting 8 out of the 9, and that would be a very good profit for us. This one back into the green here, and we'll probably see this one's just about to come back into the green as well. As you can see, just needs to creep up a little bit against the pound, but I'm fairly confident the euro will get there in the next 8 minutes. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to wrap this up. Hopefully it's been beneficial for you. Certainly if we get 8 out of 9 trades, we're looking at somewhere in the region of $250 profit for this morning session. And it does look like this one, if the euro strengthens, it will come in as well. So but worst case scenario, we're looking at somewhere like a $200 profit for this morning's webinar. So not bad at all, I'm sure you'll agree. And what I'll do is I will go through the results of these trades in this afternoon session quickly, just to let you know how they all ended up. We've got some of them for 9:15 expiries, some for 9, but as you can see, all of them looking fairly good. So what you can do, by the way, is follow our YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'll just send you a link to that. Just bear with me. Put your link to that over. There we go. There we go, so that's our YouTube channel. Do subscribe to that. There's a lot of useful information on there. For anyone that's taking the webinars or training, we do upload our recorded webinars for you to view. So they're worth having a look at. We can see the pound starting to strengthen against the yen now, but the USD still holding strong, and the euro as well. So yeah, the pound's starting to show some gain here, but the euro is still holding fast. So most of these looking good. So I think these will all come in, bar a couple. So we should still see good profit. And I look forward to seeing you again later. Now this afternoon, obviously, we're focusing around the NFP. It's a big event, so hopefully you can all join me, and we should get a very positive end to the week, some good profit going into the weekend. And I think it's going to be a very good session, so I'm looking forward to that. The non-farm payroll, Fuad, it's one of the biggest events in the financial calendar for traders. So we're going to have a look at how to tackle that, how to take advantage of it this afternoon. I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for joining me.